thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to the another Stuba webinar, and today we are talking about Mississippi. But just to introduce myself, I'm Nigel McShine Jones, and I am the partnerships manager here at Stuba. But for the purposes of this afternoon, you can call me Nige. Nigel's such a horrible formal name, but anyway, we are delighted to introduce Hannah McClure, even one of my newest travel industry besties, and Hannah is the senior account manager at Travel and Tourism Marketing, who are the UK office for Visit Mississippi. And Hannah, thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to let us tell us about your wonderful destination. And I'll let you lead the way and tell us all about Mississippi.
Thank you, Nige. And thank you all for joining. So yeah, as Nigel said, I am the UK and Irish account manager for Visit Mississippi. I'm going to start. The presentation I've done is kind of tailored as if you were going to be selling a kind of fly drive. The majority of customers that are going to be coming through from the UK are going to be doing a deep south fly drive. They're going to be maybe starting in Tennessee and coming through Mississippi, or maybe starting in Louisiana or Atlanta. So I thought the easiest way was kind of to build a kind of fly drive as we go through. So to give you an idea, location, one sec, there we go. So the deep south states are 4 states which are all connected through various themes. We all celebrate music, culture, food, and civil rights. Tennessee is at the top, then we have Alabama if you're looking at that map to the right of us, and Louisiana to the left. I like to say we're the juicy sandwich fill in between. So if you're going to be coming to Tennessee and down to New Orleans, you're going to be coming through Mississippi. So we're very fortunate, and we're obviously situated right by the Mississippi River. To give you an idea, if you're driving from Nashville to New Orleans, it just takes about 8 hours. So you don't have to travel far, you don't have to do long drives, and you can really spend, a good 2 weeks exploring this wonderful destination. And obviously Mississippi is the one that I'm going to be talking about.
Excellent.
This is just a short video. Mississippi is the birthplace of America's music, and this video really sums up exactly what Mississippi is about and why we fit in really well with those deep south states. So enjoy. So you would have seen a few familiar faces in that video, and as we go on and talk about different locations, those names will pop up. But as I said, we are the birthplace of America's music, and being situated right in the middle of those deep south states, which are so popular for different genres of music, blues, country, we're where it all started. So you really have to visit us before you go to Nashville, before you go to Memphis, so you can actually see how it all started.
And I have to say, and I'm not just saying this because you're with us today, Hannah, that is one of the reasons. I mean, music's my natural high, and that's one of the reasons why Mississippi is still on. It's one of the few places I've been to Biloxi for an afternoon, but it's a big missing part of all the places that I've been to in the States, because I was just going through some of the names there. So Cassandra Wilson, Dorothy Moore, Little Milton, obviously B.B. King, obviously Elvis. And I've got music from all of them in my Spotify music. And the thing that I didn't realize until I saw Elvis, the film they did recently, was how B.B. King and Elvis were such good friends and how close they were. I had no idea.
Yeah.
absolutely no idea. It absolutely took me by surprise. It was really good, fantastic. But anyway, we digress. Tell us more about your airports.
So we have two main airports in Mississippi. We do not have any direct flights from the UK into Mississippi, which doesn't bother us because, like I said, the majority of people are going to be either driving through
Yeah.
or they're going to be flying into New Orleans. Within 45 minutes, you're in Mississippi. They'll be flying into Memphis. Within 15 minutes, you're in Mississippi. So you really don't need those direct connections. Some kind of top tips I would say though, if you have clients that are wanting to do a fly drive and they're really wanting to get a really good deep south experience, fly them into Atlanta. You're going to have loads and loads of options to go up through the Smokies, across Tennessee, down through Alabama, across Mississippi, into Louisiana. But the best thing I think about it is your car hire. You're not going to have any one-way drop-off fees. If you're doing a round trip Atlanta, you're going to save yourself about $700 just by not picking up in one airport and dropping off in the other. So if you have
Right.
clients that are doing the Nashville to New Orleans, bear in mind that their car hire, they are going to have about a $600 to $700 drop-off fee. And I feel like if you
Well,
have
okay.
clients that are wanting to do that true deep south, they need to kind of experience more of Mississippi and Alabama because we we are a bit more unspoiled. We're kind of, yes,
Yeah.
we get the tourists, but we don't have those huge tourist trap destinations or cities, which without them we wouldn't get the visitors we do. So we do love them, but it's a bit more authentic
No,
in
I
our
understand.
areas.
Yeah.
So the regions in Mississippi, we have 5 regions, 6 hours top to bottom. So this map might look a bit confusing, but it's really, really easy to understand. If you look
Mhm.
at the yellow top for the hills, that's what borders Tennessee. Um, and then sort of the green pines to coastal is Alabama, and the river will be the nearest bit to Louisiana. The Delta is kind of where all our rich history comes from. It's where our cotton farms were. So a lot of our civil rights movement happened here. Obviously, it was statewide. It was the Deep South, really, for that. But our blues was born here, and we have lots of wonderful little towns that, as I go through, we'll speak about a bit more. And we're very, very fortunate that we do have the beautiful Gulf Coast. And again, as I go through, I'm going to talk a little bit more about different areas so you'll understand.
Fantastic.
I've got some top tips for selling Mississippi. So I'm just going to go through them. I've already touched on the fact that we are the birthplace of America's music, and live music can be heard all over the state. So from top to bottom, you're going to get live music. There's some areas where you'll get it 7 days a week, some areas just weekends. Um, just like anywhere, we have more lively areas than we do, and we have some quieter areas. But I think that's the beauty of the state. You can kind of travel around and really experience some different things to do. Um, like I said earlier, 15 minutes outside of Memphis, and we're just 3 hours from Nashville as well. So also, if you've got a real music fan, they really want to do an Elvis or they really want to do country music, there's a great little loop that you can do from Nashville to Memphis to Tupelo to Muscle Shoals and back to Nashville. So if you have people that are staying for a
Wow.
week because
Yeah.
they don't have the travel time, again, you can really touch on some great musical cities, and the longest part of that drive will be 3 hours. I love this about the South. I think we're really fortunate that everything's so close together. Um,
Yeah, and you mentioned Muscle Shoals in there as well, and that's another huge place that's massive for music. I know that's Alabama, right?
it is in Alabama, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but yeah,
it
just that as a music itinerary just sounds absolutely amazing.
yeah, it's so good. And actually, without Muscle Shoals, that Muscle Shoals is actually the hit recording capital of the world.
Yeah,
So it's where the likes of the Stones, Aretha Franklin cut her first record. So
yeah,
without
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
beautiful town, some
yeah.
of our
Otis
Mississippi
Redding,
musicians
yeah,
wouldn't have cut records. So it really fits in, and it's the
yeah.
perfect
Sounds
loop, to be
amazing.
honest. Um, like I said, if you've got clients in New Orleans, you can be on a Mississippi beach in less than an hour. Southern hospitality at its finest. I mean, any of the states in the South will say they have
Yeah.
Southern hospitality because they do, but I like to think we're the friendliest. Delicious food, literally from everything fresh Gulf Coast shrimp to that traditional or more known fried food that they love in the South, and just fascinating history, absolutely heaps
Yeah,
from Civil War, civil rights, music, arts, we kind of have it all. So that's kind of what I would say is, if you have customers that don't really know what they want to do, that don't want to drive too far, they may be a kind of their second, third time travel to the States. They've done California, they've done East
yeah,
Coast, or they're wanting to go somewhere, but they don't want to spend the prices that the West Coast are, or Florida. We're such an affordable destination. We don't have those busy highways. The accommodations are really well priced. The people are super friendly. The food's great price. We
Yeah,
really do have it all. And I think at this time as well, people may be a bit more budget conscious. It's definitely one to think of.
absolutely. Sounds wonderful.
Okay, so we're going to kind of start our little fly drive journey. So imagine that we have done Nashville, we've done Memphis, we've been to Gracelands, we've kind of done that part of Elvis, and we are going to start at the top. So we are in that hills region, and we're going to start with Tupelo. Tupelo is one of our areas that we are most famous for, as it's where Elvis was born. So, like I
Ah,
said, the birthplace of Elvis. It's a beautiful town. Even if you do not have Elvis fans, there is so much to do. But I feel like if you're going to go all this way, you've got to have a little bit of the king of rock and roll. So here
uh-huh.
you can visit the marker. You can visit his house where he was born. So the picture you can see there is actually the house that he lived in. It's just a two-room shack. You go up the stairs into the kind of main room and then out to the kitchen. Now it's literally tiny, but it is the house he lived in. On the birthplace as well, they have the church that he learnt to sing in. They have a memorial chapel and a museum. So it kind of is a really good. You could spend 1 hour, 5 hours. They've got beautiful walks around there that you can do, and it really kind of celebrates Elvis's life as a child and what gave him that musical influence. I mean, he lived here till he was 14, so that's when he went to Memphis. So his whole childhood was spent here, so it meant a lot
Yeah.
to him. He used to come back here all the time. And there's a great place that you can go called Johnny's Drive-In. Elvis
Mhm.
used to go there. He used to eat a famous dough burger. You can sit in the booth that he used to eat in. It's Elvis collateral everywhere. It's one of those really unique places that only takes cash, so it's proper authentic.
Okay.
But you really want to immerse yourself in in the Mississippi hospitality and the Mississippi way of life. So this is a great spot to do that. We
Okay.
have
So
great
you
shops.
mentioned
Oh,
you
sorry.
mentioned something just a minute ago, dough burger. Given that I'm a
Yes.
bit of a gannet and a bit of a foodie, what is a dough burger?
So a dough burger essentially so Elvis came from a really poor family
Yeah.
and they didn't have a lot of money. And what they would do is they would make burgers out of dough. So they when they would cook some meat or some, make a burger, they would save the fat from it. And then they would use sort of breadcrumbs and kind of a bit of that flavoring, make
Yeah.
a burger out of dough and fry it in the meat fat because it was a lot cheaper. And that
I
is what a dough
say.
burger is. And I'm so glad you asked because it sounds awful, but it's actually really
No.
nice. But
I'm
you
all
have to
over
try
that.
one when you're there. It's a staple. So yeah, and even when he made his all his fortune and he was rocking around the world, he'd always come back here and have one. So yeah,
Have a dough burger.
yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly.
Excellent.
Um,
I did just forget to mention, sorry, if any of the our agents have got any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat room, and we can cover those off for you. So yeah, please feel free to put any questions in there. Sorry, Hannah.
no, you're fine. Um, so Tupelo, like I said, it isn't just Elvis. We have great shopping, we have great restaurants. I think the one thing I love most about the shopping in Mississippi is everything's local. So it's local boutiques, local
Yeah,
bookshops.
yeah,
We don't really have those big chains. Obviously, you'll get, your Walmarts and your Targets outside, but downtowns, it's all local produce and
nice,
beautiful boutiques. I got some of my wedding jewelry from kind of some of the local artists and stuff. It's just a really lovely place, and everyone's so
fantastic.
friendly. There's actually a really cool place called Blue Jeans in Tupelo, and you can go and get some tailored blue jeans made exactly to your size. So it's a kind of cool little thing you want to
Fantastic.
do just to
Yeah,
fit in with that Elvis
absolutely.
thing. Um, and this is just a map of Tupelo. So everything is so close, but we
Mm,
have the Natchez Trace Park headquarters. So the Natchez Trace Parkway, I'll speak about in a second, is actually a scenic byway that runs 444 miles from a little place called Natchez on the river all the way to Nashville. And a scenic byway, for anyone that doesn't know, is kind of, a two-lane road, very slow, beautiful, tree lined. There's lots of places you can stop, pull over, have picnics. You can hike, cycle it. run it if you want. But
Mm.
it's a beautiful road, and you can drive parts of it. And the headquarters are here in Tupelo, which means you can also access to get on it. So if you want a bit of a slower pace and just kind of take the day as it comes and stop, beautiful walks, birding, all of that sort of stuff, it's really cool to do that here. We have things to do for families. So there's Tupelo Buffalo Park, obviously all the Elvis Presley stuff, the statues, all downtown. We have beautiful murals of Elvis. You can do an Elvis cocktail trail. So if you
Mhm.
visit,
Oh, I think you've just put yourself on mute, Hannah, I think by mistake.
oh, I don't
There
know,
we
sorry
go.
about that.
We
I was just
last
saying,
heard you at the Elvis Cocktail Trail.
yeah, so if you visit the visitor centre, they'll give you a little book and you go around and you get a Elvis cocktail at each bar and they'll stamp it.
Nice.
Then they give you a Elvis cocktail shaker to take away. So it's kind of like a little nice little gimmicky thing. You'll
Yeah,
actually
like it.
find that throughout the state of Mississippi, every visitor centre, we've spent a lot of money on our visitor centres. So they give all the information you could possibly need, but they all do little quirky things. And I'll kind of mention them as and when I go through places that have them.
Sounds good.
So Elvis would have been 90 this year. Would have turned 90 in January. So this year in Tupelo is a huge celebration of his life and celebrating his birthday. So if you do have clients that are booked or clients that are wanting to go this year, then there's bound to be something on. They do have other festivals throughout the year too. They actually have an Elvis festival in June, but there's loads and loads of stuff going on.
Okay.
Hotel Tupelo is one that I know you guys feature, and it is beautiful. It's a boutique hotel downtown, and one that I would suggest every time you take anyone there, you stay in. Really good value. They have live music at weekends, that sort of thing. Very cool. And that's
Sounds
kind of
good.
Tupelo in a nutshell. So we
Excellent.
then, oh, we good. We then move on to Oxford. So I don't know why my things are moving. There we go. So Oxford is just about 45 minutes from Tupelo. So you may find that you're not going to have an overnight in every single place I'm talking about. And as I was explaining earlier, the beauty of Mississippi is you may have, say, 3, 4 nights within the state, but you can visit all these places because they're so close. So, say you overnighted in Tupelo and you were heading down towards New Orleans and you didn't want to overnight in Oxford, you could easily go here for lunch because you're so close, enjoy a couple of hours there and then carry on. Or if you have clients that aren't really into Elvis or kind of like, oh, actually, I like the look of Oxford more, you could overnight here and do the Elvis experience en route. And that is the beauty of every single place I'm going to speak about. They're all so close on our journey down. But Oxford is one of my personal favourites. It takes its name from Oxford, England. So they wanted a university town that was good as Oxford. Which is why it took its name. And this is home to Ole Miss. So if we have any college football fans, you would have heard of Ole Miss. So yes, it's a beautiful town. It has um, a town square. So the town hall building is in the middle, and the square is lined with restaurants, shops, like I said, those boutique shops, bars, and bookshops. The reason we have so many bookshops here is Oxford is home of the Nobel Prize winning author William Faulkner. And his home, Rowan Oak, is here, which you can do tours, and they're really super interesting. You can see where he used to sit and write all his books. And there's lots of kind of statues and memorials around the town for him. Um, we are a huge foodie place in Oxford, so
Yeah, I can
the
imagine.
culinary experience are exceptional. We have loads of award-winning chefs, James Beard Award winning, which is the America's kind of top chefs and restaurants. Like I was saying, those local boutiques. Because it's a university town, the square has kind of got good, well, it's got great nightlife, but it's not like crazy
Yeah,
university town.
yeah.
It's like going to a Hallmark movie, Oxford. You know, if you're watching like an American Christmas film, Oxford's going to be kind of that place that would pop up because they're visiting their grandparents or something. It is just really cool. I love it. Great hotel choices. We've got a Hilton there. We've got boutique stuff, so kind of everything you would
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, I have
Loads
to
of
say,
festivals.
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say we also have loads of festivals. There's always something going on in Oxford. So there's loads of arts and music festivals. The picture you can see there with the double decker is called Double Decker, and it's every April, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and I have to say, in the US, whenever you get a university town, there's always such a wonderful vibe to it. You know, and like you say, and not always like filled with mainstream brands and stuff like that, but yeah, lots of independence and just like a nice vibe. You've got, you know, real mix of the locals that live there, obviously the university guys that are all coming in from different parts of, you know, the world, even not just the US. And it's always a nice vibe. Whenever I visited a university town in the US, it's just magnificent. So, and I'm sure this is no different.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Nige. So yeah, so they're kind of the two areas within our hills region that we kind of focus on for international travelers. So we're going to kind of delve a little bit into the Mississippi Delta. Um, if my thing catches up, is it caught up to you guys yet? I'm a little bit delayed this side.
Not yet. We're still on Oxford.
Let me press. There we go.
There we go.
So we are going to talk a bit about the Mississippi Delta. So in the video that you saw, you would have seen a lot of it. This is where our musical legacy started. So the first place I'm going to speak about is Clarksdale. So Clarksdale is the most unique but fascinating place I think I've ever been to. So we're right on in the heart of the Delta, which was kind of that top part of the state that bordered the river, and we're about an hour and a half from Memphis. Right on Highway 61. So Highway 61 is the famous blues highway. So if you're a real blues fan, you'll probably have heard numerous songs that will mention Highway 61, but it's the road that leads to Memphis. And Clarksdale is a tiny little Delta town. It's edgy, it's gritty. You turn up in the day and you're kind of looking around at these beautiful Art Deco buildings. You're looking at kind of beautiful murals, but it's quiet. And then at night, you've got some of the best blues music you've ever heard. And some of
Fantastic.
these bars that you're going to visit, well, clubs and juke joints. So juke joints is what they call a blues bar, and they're original structure juke joints. So you might be looking around and thinking, wow, this looks a bit edgy, like I said, gritty. You kind of be in there with candlelight. There might be a kind of a little bit of a musty smell in there. Again, all the bars are cash in there, but all of a sudden someone will just start playing some blues music and you just get transported to just absolute heaven.
Magnificent.
It's people travel all around the world to this tiny little Delta town. We've had Sir Bob Geldof turn up. The Beatles have huge influence with Clarksdale. Ozzy Osbourne, he came to Clarksdale.
Oh, bless him.
And not many people know about it, which I wish more people did because it does need more love. But I also wish they don't because I don't want it to it's just
Let's
perfect as
spoil.
it is. Yeah. The most famous blues club we have there is Ground Zero, and that's owned by Morgan Freeman, and that is open
Magnificent.
Wednesdays to Saturdays. Like I said, we have live blues music 365 of the days of the year here. Do bear in mind if you have real blues fans, try and get them between Wednesday and Saturday because they may have sort of 4 or 5 blues venues that they can go to rather on a Monday or Tuesday. There might just be one. So it will give them that kind of real experience. We do tend to in the Delta region a little bit be a bit quieter on a Sunday and Monday. Um,
Mhm.
People like to go to church and just chill out on those days. That's not to say you can't do things. I just think for this area, if you have people really
Yeah.
wanting to get that real experience to do that.
Okay. Sounds good.
And this is also home to the Crossroads, so the famous Crossroads where Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil. We've got Delta Blues Museums. You can canoe the mighty Mississippi with the Kelpie Canoe Company if you have clients that are wanting a bit more of an adventure. It is weather dependent. That's one mighty strong river. So if it's
Mm.
too choppy, you'll end up in New Orleans. So yeah, it is weather dependent, but it's great fun. And loads of different unique lodging choices, which you'll be able to pull through with your Stuba logins. Why has that not gone through? Sorry. Next stop is Cleveland. So we're only about half an hour, 40 minutes from Clarksdale. Cleveland is home to our Grammy Museum. So we are the only other place that has a Grammy Museum outside of Los Angeles because we have so many wonderful musical Mississippians. It's a
Imagine.
great interactive museum. Um, it's also very, very affordable to go. All of our museums are super affordable. As I was saying, we're a great value state. Um, you can spend as little as long as you like. It's really good if you've got kids. There's kind of like a big walk-on light up piano floor. They can record their own songs. But Cleveland itself, great downtown area, bars, boutiques, restaurants, coffee shops. You'll hear me keep saying all of this because every little wonderful town that we have has all of these wonderful things. Um, and good hotel options again. Um, I would say if you have people that aren't really into kind of that real blues experience and wanting maybe something a little bit, I don't want to use the word upmarket because I feel like Clarksdale offers a really upmarket experience for the blues in regards to what it offers. But Cleveland itself is very different. It's more modern and the
Mhm.
accommodation's slightly different. So it just
More
depends what
modern
client you
take on
have.
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and then next to Greenwood, next to Cleveland, we have Greenwood. So we're all in the heart of that delta now. And Greenwood's going to be those real history buffs are going to want to come here. This is known as the heart and soul of the Mississippi Delta. Robert Johnson, the famous bluesman's final resting place. We get everything from artists, musicians, filmmakers, chefs, foodies, writers, history buffs, like I said, they want to come here. We have films that are filmed here. So if anyone's seen the film The Help, which I'm sure you have, this is where a lot of it was filmed. So like I said, it really attracts some real history buffs. And it's just a wonderful, real traditional Mississippi Delta town. You're going to see those beautiful houses with the porches and the rocking
Mhm.
chairs, and everyone's got that beautiful Mississippi twang in their voice, and they're just so friendly. You'll get that everywhere, but I just
Yeah.
love Greenwood for that. And you've got a lot of civil rights history. If anyone knows who Emmett Till is, we a couple of years
Yeah.
ago had a statue for him here, and Mount Bio is not too far from here, so you can really kind of get a real feel of just what it was like for these people back then, and actually what they did and how everything's changed now, and how it's a wonderful place that we can share these stories and educate people.
And I have to say, The Help is one of my favorite films of all time.
It's
So it's
brilliant,
Emma
isn't it?
Emma Wood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's anybody out there in webinar land who's not seen that film, trust me, watch it. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. It's a magnificent film. It really is good. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, no, it is. So that kind of sums up the kind of areas that I would suggest that you would stay in the Delta. So three areas, kind
Yeah,
of situate for different kind of clients. Obviously, you could do all three. We'd love that. But we know that clients sometimes are short on time, so it just kind of highlights the areas and the kind of people that would go there. But like I said, they're so close. You could overnight in Clarksdale, you could go to the Grammy Museum in the morning, you could have lunch in Greenwood, and then you could head, onto your next destination by
yeah.
afternoon because we're so close. One of my favorite museums in Mississippi is the BB King Museum. It's situated in a little town in the Delta called Indianola, and we're driving now down towards our capital city, Jackson. So if you're coming from Greenwood, about an hour, and then after this, about another hour to Jackson. So BB King set this museum up when he was alive, and it was to tell the story of the king's life and his career from start to finish. He put so much detail into the museum. He performed at the museum. It really became the kind of, the center of Indianola. I mean, BB King is Indianola all over. But when BB King died, he donated everything to the museum. So this museum, like I said, it tells the story of his life. So you go in, you'll watch this wonderful video that he made for the museum, which you get a great understanding of truly what a wonderful man he was. Not just a musician, just the person he was. You learn about his family, you learn about his story, because he had a tough upbringing, and which made him the person he was. And as you go through the museum, you'll see everything from his clothes to his beloved guitars, to his tour buses, to the way his office was laid out. And then right at the end, when you leave, he's actually buried there. So you get the whole experience. From start to finish. You'll be meeting with people in the museum that work in the museum that knew BB and they were friends with BB, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. And again, it's like less than
Fantastic.
$20 to go. So yeah, even if
Brilliant.
you're not a huge blues fan or don't know who BB is, which you should, and you definitely will after this, visit, because it's a definite one to do.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
So Jackson is our capital city. So this is where one of our airports are. So you can connect, if you do have customers that just want to fly, you can connect through Atlanta or Dallas into Jackson. Yeah. So this is our city with soul. So we have everything from our famous Civil Rights Museum. We have great live music venues, great restaurants. We've got beautiful historic districts, beautiful art murals. It's quite a spread out city. So in the South, a lot of our cities aren't like New York, where everyone will walk around. Everything's kind of spread out, so you would need a car to explore the area. There's like different pockets of places that you would want to go. The two museums that we have are the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum and the Mississippi History Museum, and they are in one building. The Civil Rights Museum is phenomenal. They have spent millions and millions of dollars doing this museum, and it attracts millions and billions of visitors. This actually, Jackson's a great place to come if you have people traveling. You know, I said it's a little bit quieter sometimes, Sunday, Mondays. Jackson's a great place to stay Sunday, Mondays. The museums are free on a Sunday, and on Mondays we have great live blues at a place called Hallam Mouse. So that's kind of my tip there. My favourite area to stay in is Fondren, and this is full of beautiful Art Deco buildings. They've put a lot of effort into kind of making the area a bit more up and coming. They have live music, they've got food, bars, shops, and they close the street down now every Thursday, I think it is, for kind of a street party which attracts locals, tourists. It's just a really, really nice. Everyone's wanting to move to Fondren, and might be why it's one of my favorite places. But yeah, absolutely love it. And just 45 minutes outside of Jackson, we have Vicksburg. So you may not get people wanting to stay at both. They're very, very different places. If you want someone that wants the city, absolutely Jackson. If you want someone that wants to be right on the river, is really interested in Civil War, and really starting to get some of that historic, the historic, beautiful properties that Mississippi's famous for, then Vicksburg's your answer. And we are home to the Vicksburg National Military Park, which is the site of American Civil War Battle of Vicksburg. It is a national park. You can drive it or you can have a guided tour. I mean, to drive it without stopping can take about half an hour. The guided tour is 2 hours. You'll want to do it in more than half an hour, because you'll be driving along and seeing these beautiful, beautiful murals that each state fought in the Civil War have donated. So the one you can see in that picture, I believe is Ohio's. I always get them wrong, but that one you can actually go up the steps and go inside, and every single person that fought in the Civil War's name is engraved on the walls, and it's beautiful. Wow. And it's the artwork in there is worth, I think it's like over $1 billion throughout this park. It's just incredible. Wow. So that's one to definitely do. But downtown Vicksburg is just stunning. It's cobbled streets. It's got one kind of long downtown road, I would say, which is walkable, and you've got 6 museums on there. You've got the Coca-Cola Museum, as Coca-Cola was first bottled in Vicksburg. You've got a Civil War Museum. You've got art galleries, again, shops, bars. You've got a lovely daiquiri bar, so you can get a daiquiri and walk around and explore all the beautiful, beautiful artwork that Vicksburg has. And we have beautiful murals throughout the state, and they've really become very Instagrammable. So if you have any clients that are into their Instagram, they're very, very well pictured. We have rooftop bars, but this is kind of where our historic houses start. So these would have been the pre-Civil War homes. You may well know them as sort of antebellum. We like to call them pre-Civil War, but just so you understand what I'm talking about. And we have some great properties in Vicksburg that you can stay in as well. But it really starts that kind of Civil War story here. And like I said, you get great views of the river, and the sunsets at South 10, which is the 10 South, which is the rooftop bar, are just phenomenal.
Excellent.
So 2 hours from Vicksburg down the river, we have Natchez. And this is kind of going to be probably your last stop if you're going to go straight to New Orleans, because we're just 2 hours from New Orleans now. So we've traveled down that state. Natchez is a true taste of Southern hospitality. We have over 300 years of fascinating history, which for America is huge. I know not for us Brits, but we are really where some of it all started. We have the Natchez State Park and the Natchez Trace Parkway. So when I was talking about that road, when we were talking about Tupelo that runs 444 miles, it starts in Natchez, or starts or ends depending on which way you want to go, but this is where you can go. This is the area that has the largest collection of pre-Civil War homes. Pictured below is Longwood, so that is one of our octagonal, I think there's only 2 octagonal homes in America, but cotton was king, making Natchez the home of more millionaires per capita than any other city in America pre-Civil War. So these houses are beautiful, they're grand, they tell really important stories. Each house was owned by certain families, and you can learn about them. You can, some of these houses are untouched, so they're exactly how they would have been pre-Civil War, and you can go around.
And is Natchez that's on the Mississippi, isn't it?
It is right on
It's
the
actually
Mississippi.
right on the river.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I was on many moons ago on a Delta Queen steamboat trip, and we started in New Orleans, and Natchez was one of our first stops along the way,
Yes.
and as it continued up the Mississippi.
Yeah, so if you actually have any clients that are doing the paddle steamers, the cruises, this would be one of the stops. And also, exactly what Nige just said, you can get it if you're coming up from New Orleans.
Yeah,
so the hop on hop off bus tour, we don't have many. Well, I think this is the only one we actually have in Mississippi, but it's perfect for Natchez because it allows you to explore all of those beautiful historic houses and see exactly what Natchez has to offer. From the map that you'll be able to see now, you'll get an idea of how close we are to the river. So the yellow track is obviously where the hop on hop off bus goes, but where you can see the paddle steamer, that's called Natchez Under the Hill, and you can basically touch the river. And when the river is high, depending on how much rain they have, it floods. But so you can get as close as you want to it. But it's the beautiful, if you've ever seen pictures of Natchez with their beautiful red poppies, that is where they are. There's some great restaurants along that Natchez Under the Hill, and a really famous saloon bar that does really cool live music, and definitely one that you want to go visit. But I just love everything about Natchez. I love the vibe of it. You can just walk everywhere, all around downtown. It's become a really popular place. People come for weekends if they're in Louisiana, and they can actually get the bridge straight over to Louisiana, so you're that close. So
right.
if you have travelers that want to touch another state but they're not going to Louisiana, they could drive over the bridge, say they've been to Louisiana, and come back. Yeah. So yeah, Natchez is definitely one that I would recommend anyone doing if they're on a Mississippi trip. I mean, I would say go to everywhere, but we know that not everyone can, but it's definitely one of our most popular destinations. And then we're going to do the last part of our training, which hopefully you're not too happy that it's nearly over. But yeah, coastal Mississippi. Coastal Mississippi has always been important to us, but it's even more important to us now because we are about to launch a new Amtrak route on the 18th of August.
Yeah.
So this Amtrak route, or Amtrak route, if there's any Americans here, runs from New Orleans to Mobile, Alabama, and it's called the Mardi Gras line. So you can either go, it runs, there's 2 lines, so it will go New Orleans to Mobile or Mobile to Alabama. And during Hurricane Katrina, it got destroyed, and they have just relaunched it. And we have 4 stops in Mississippi along this route. So I'm going to talk about the stops and what you can do in each place. But this is just fantastic for us because you do get a lot of people coming into New Orleans that are just coming in. Maybe they're doing Mardi Gras, or maybe they're coming for 5 nights and they're just doing that, and they're not hiring a car. Well, this means that they can do a beach day and don't have to worry about it. You have clients that don't want to drive. They can get the Amtrak from Memphis down to New Orleans and then explore our beautiful Gulf coasts, and do the Mardi Gras history. You can start it in Mobile. We have Mardi Gras stops in Mississippi, and then to New Orleans to Today's Mardi Gras. So yeah, the first stop, if you're coming from New Orleans, you're about 45 minutes on the train. You're going to be in Bay St. Louis. Now, people from New Orleans or Louisiana come here all weekend. They will have beach houses here. It's a really cool. It kind of gives me actually like Key West vibes. It's a little bit Florida vibes. It's very,
Okay.
very small, very, very quaint. No one drives. They kind of park their car, walk around. They've got golf buggies. You probably see people pitched up with music out their cars, sipping on a daiquiri, just taking in the vibe. It's most of the businesses are owned by women in Bay St. Louis, which I think is really cool. And there's like loads of local shops, like I said, great for golf around this area. You can fishing charter, you can hire boats. The bridge that you can see in that picture, that is actually the train track. So the views are just
Oh,
beautiful as they go through. And obviously you've got the Gulf Coast, beautiful beaches the whole way around it. We are then going to drive to Biloxi, which I know, Nigel, you said you have been to. So Biloxi's kind
yeah.
of like a little bit like Atlantic City, but on the Gulf Coast. So we're going to
Yeah.
bring fun, we're going to bring casinos, we're going to bring great resort hotels that have shows. We're going to have some of the best fresh oysters, Gulf Coast shrimp you're gonna find. The the restaurants here are some of the best I have ever been to. And when you're in travel, you get to travel the world. And I honestly, I've eaten some of the best food here. They have great hotels, so anything from Hilton's. We've got an MGM property called the Beau Rivage. We've got Hard Rocks. Um, we've got loads of different things that if you're not interested in that, you can still do. So we've got a Maritime Museum. We've got the Biloxi Lighthouse, art galleries, shrimping excursions. So you can go out and see how they catch the Gulf Coast shrimp. We actually have private islands that are owned by Mississippi. You can hire a boat and just drive out on the boat and just pitch up a picnic and just spend the whole day on the beach doing what you love, just relaxing and then hopping back to Biloxi for a nice evening meal.
Mm.
Ocean Springs is 10 minutes from Biloxi. So although the train doesn't stop in Biloxi, in Ocean Springs, it stops in Biloxi. You could just grab an Uber to Ocean Springs. Think again, very Key West, but this is not on the beach. It's more of a kind of again a bit Hallmark movie-ish, but imagine Hallmark movies summer vibes. You're going to have live music all weekend.
Hallmark
You're going to
movie.
have brunches with beautiful guitarists, singers, pianists. It really is just a beautiful, beautiful place. Loads of arts museums. They have live music like every day down here too. Again, great food. I keep talking about all this great food, right? Just making me hungry. And
Yeah,
again,
likewise.
shopping.
Yeah,
And
and I
then
was going
that
to
would
say
just
before you go
yeah,
on, go on to the
yeah, no,
going
carry
back
on.
to and actually even going back to the previous slide, when you look at those beaches, and I think when you talk about the Gulf Coast beaches, I think it's probably just a good thing to add. I mean, often when you're thinking about, the beaches on the Gulf Coast, you often maybe think Florida, you might think St. Pete's, Clearwater, etc. But these beaches, and you look at those pictures, they're of the equal and on the same coast of these other beaches that might be, more kind of more make more headlines, but the beaches are of the equal of those places.
Oh, easily. And actually, they're quieter. So I
Exactly.
think
Less
that's a
crowded.
benefit.
Less crowded.
We do
Absolutely.
actually have, so you can 26 miles of uninterrupted beach where you could just walk the whole
Yeah.
length. And
No,
that is
magnificent.
would
Yeah.
be if you were driving from Bay St. Louis to Biloxi, you would
Yeah.
see that. And it is beautiful. So yeah, and that train journey is stunning too. So even if you want to drive it though, it doesn't take long at all. And as you're going through, you've done Biloxi, you're visiting Ocean Springs for lunch, you carry on, you'll get to Mobile, Alabama, and then you can explore some of the Gulf Coast in
Yeah.
Alabama too. So it just opens
Yeah.
up that.
Absolutely. And I think it makes like a perfect, so like you say, if you did sort of like New Orleans or whatever, and then you take your drive and then you go to your Gulf Coast and your beaches, then you've got a nice balance of a city stay, and then you can do your flopping on the beach, on the
Exactly.
coast, nice
We
combo.
really do have the best of both, or the best of it all,
Yeah,
should
no,
I say?
absolutely. Absolutely.
And that the Amtrak route, just to let you know, it starts from $15 one way to go from
Wow.
New Orleans to Mobile, and you can stop at any of the stops along. And all the stations are, really centrally located. So we're really, really excited about that. It's like 13 days away now. I've been talking about this for like 3 years, and it's finally happened. So it's super exciting for us. But just to summarize, I mean, the outdoor activities. you can do everything in Mississippi, as I've spoken about: fishing, hiking, walking, um, paddle boarding, birding, you name it, we've got it. We
Oh,
really
nice.
are a
Yeah.
destination for everyone. Yes, we love to talk about how our musical influence spreads worldwide, but I feel like when you come to Mississippi, and you do really need to come here to experience it, you fall in love with it and you realize just how special it is. So yeah, that is me. Done.
Wow, thank you very much. Well, you can tell from your enthusiasm and your excitement that you have done just that. You have fallen in love with Mississippi, because your enthusiasm for the destination is absolutely infectious. And you've put Mississippi right on the top of the list for me for my next visit now. So yeah, it's just, especially with the music and the food and things like that. So I don't know if anybody, I can see Jeanette's typing a message. I don't know if anybody has got any questions for Hannah. Um, let's see, we've got a question maybe coming in, or a comment. How many times a day does Amtrak, the new train service, how many times a day does it run?
So it's twice daily. So
That's from
in the
Daryl,
morning,
sorry.
that's all right. In the morning, you have a service that will take you from New Orleans to Alabama. I think it's like 6, 7 a.m. and then Alabama to New Orleans. And then it's like 5, 6 in the evening. It's almost, I think they've done it a little bit like commuter times. So that actually people can
Okay.
get whole days in each destination. But the idea is that you kind of go from New Orleans, maybe stay in Biloxi a couple of nights, then go to Mobile. And then, because it's
Yeah,
it takes like 2 hours. So
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
twice daily at the minute.
Okay, perfect. All right. Jeanette's just saying great
Oh,
presentation.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jeanette. I just wanted
Um,
to say as well, if anyone wants any information or has any inquiries from customers, I'll leave my email address in the chat.
yes,
Please reach
please.
out to us. We're happy to send any information that may help, maps, things like that. And if any of you are planning your own holidays, again, let us know. We do fam trips as well. So if any places ever come up, and you register on the Deep South USA website, we post stuff on there all the time. So I'll share my email, and please reach out if you need me.
Okay. Well, I'd say I've been really taken by your presentation, and I think it's probably a sign of how much of a gannet I am. But the thing at the front of my mind is this dough burger, but
You'll
amongst
have
other
to
things, no,
try make
and the
one.
music, and the music, the Cassandra Wilsons, the Dorothy Moores, the BB Kings, the Little Milton, they're all in my music collection. So that's really resonated with me as well. So no, thank you. I think we might have a question coming in from Lisa. No, just a nice comment. Thank you. Looks like a great destination to visit. It definitely is. And Daryl said, thank you for a great presentation, Hannah. I
Oh, thank you,
definitely
Julian.
agree. So, unless there are not any other questions, just wanted to thank Hannah for taking time out of her day to give us such a wonderful presentation. Like I say, you are clearly in love with the place, and that really came across in the presentation. So thank you, Hannah. And then thank you, everybody, to all our agents and our BDMs for joining us today. We're always very conscious that you guys have got busy days, so we do really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to join us for these magnificent webinars. So we will send you a recording of the webinar, so you can refer back to it at your leisure. And yeah, I'm really excited also about the Amtrak starting in mid-August. So that must be really, really exciting for you as well.
It
So
is.
thank you once again,
Thank
everybody,
you,
and
everyone.
have a great rest of the week.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.